Ay. Bathi khuluma nabo mfana ubatshela kuhamba kanjani ulungani kwalalo. AKA umfana kaChocolate. Oh, yes. Sesifikile sesikhona. This is the Global Sunday. Uyazi-ke nawe ukuthi um now it's been weeks after it only has been one day simply technology, but I know what today yeah, we delayed a little bit because we've got, like, man of the man, we've got someone special namhlanje so bese introduce kuwena, but yeah, you're not gonna you're not gonna feel sad throughout the session, throughout the show. We have David Pike, he's back on the Global Sunday, kuleli sonto leli, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Welcome, guys. Let me just do something quickly here, which I normally do when we start the show. I just want to check if my microphone is okay. I know it's always okay in most cases, but just to make sure you guys are having fun with us. Yeah. Please do engage with us namhlanje. Let me know how was your week. You're definitely gonna be hearing from us and I cannot wait to hear from our lovely host the week ibinjani and stuff like that. Let me see microphone yami iyasebenza yini, and then I'll be with you guys like in a moment. I think everything is cool. I think everything is good. Let's see that. There you go. Yeah, I am planning with adding totally sound effect because now I'm losing my voice each and every time I have to go with my own mouth. But I know I have something special, like, evil laugh. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show. It's gonna be fun, it's gonna be nice. I've got entertainment news for you today. We've got a special guest today, and we have our panelists, which I'm going to reveal right now whenever they are ready. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? I think they are. All the way from Australia, Mr. David Pike. All the way from Durban, South Africa, Miss Classic, the Queen of Global Sunday. All the way from the US, Arizona, Mr. Laden. Guys, hello and welcome to the Global Sunday Show. Please take over.
Okay, hello and welcome, everybody. These times they change, and we still all keep going. The Global Sunday is about accomplishment. My fellow panelists are very accomplished people, and accomplishment takes time and it makes you very busy. So we've all had a really busy week. So Miss Classic, I'm sorry. Yes, you are next up. Miss Classic, how was your week?
Hello, everybody. I greet you all globally. It's always a pleasure to be here at the TGS and to have our viewers here and my panel. My week has been nice. It's been hectic. I've been working very hard to push my show, which is due on the 17th of July. So yeah, it's been a hectic week, and I had a lovely interview performance today at the Izulu Mzansi radio, and I had a wonderful guest today at my radio show. So yeah, through prayer, I'm fine. Over to you, Mr. Pike.
Hi, everybody. I'm glad everyone can join us again. Nice and early here in Australia, about 4:45 in the morning, AM that is, so that's why I have espresso coffee with me. I've been travelling. I know many people can't travel in the COVID because Australia is a big island and they don't let anybody do anything in terms of in and out too much. We can travel, but they had a scare of the COVID down in our capital, Brisbane, and they're having a bigger scare down with 47 infections in Sydney. So, and unfortunately one fatality. So I guess compared to India and many places, Brazil and many places in the world, we're in a very good position. But nevertheless, wherever I was going in the city, it was like 2 days, and then there was somebody was infecting an area, and there was a big scare. So nevertheless, went a lot of travel, and it was good to get out of my little area and talk to people they haven't seen for a while and meet some new people. It was wonderful. How about you, Mr. Can?
Well, my week has been really good. By the way, I just want to let everybody know, Miss Classic will let you know how, but get tickets for her show. It's on July 17th. This is a big, big event. A lot of artists going to be represented. And David, this is going to be right in line with your interests and extraordinary abilities because she's exploring jazz with a lot of her fellow music stars. As far as my week goes, we had a really amazing first thing that I've ever done. I did a danced final exam with students in Fukuoka, Japan on Zoom. Very, very, very interesting. I am so glad that I lived in the time and when I was a student dancing that I had exams, it was in a room with people and not on Zoom. I cannot imagine what that was like for those kids, but they did a brilliant job. So shout out to all of you kids that are there in Fukuoka, Japan. And I'm going to be there probably beginning of 2022 to see you in person. And now, in terms of all that's going on in entertainment, let's go to the entertainment news segment. Over to you, Lungani.
Welcome back to the Global Sunday. This is the entertainment news. As I promised, I'll be giving you the latest entertainment news. Let's start with uZulu Pavarotti. Pavarotti umZulu. He released a new album called My Way. Zulu Pavarotti explains to us.
Wow, 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 wow. Hi, everyone. This is Zulu Pavarotti from South Africa, around KZN. I'd love to announce that my city is now available. So if you want to contact me, you can contact me zulupv@gmail.com. My number 0651839244. Guys, it was not an easy change to do my city. I had a lot of challenges financially and also just to do some graphic design. There's a lot of challenges when you do city, but I thank God now it is perfect. Here I worked with Ntuthuko Dlamini, SAVVY studio in Durban. This gentleman was so humble. He did a very, very good job for me. And I'm singing here. I invited my friends to sing along with me. Mr. Matthias Hlongwa and also Mrs. Busi Hlongwa and also Mr. Vusi Zwane. These people are my friends. They assisted me. Best song that I like is Panis Angelicus that I've done with this lady. Guys, please buy this music. You will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. And also, I'd love to thank the Global Sunday. The Global Sunday, thank you so much. Lungan Kuala, Miss Classic, Mr. King. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let us go and support the Global Sunday. Your life will never be the same again. CD for Zulu Pavarotti is available. Thank you so much for the support. To all my fans, to all people who support Zulu Pavarotti, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bless you.
Congratulations, Zulu Pavarotti. Thank you so much for sharing with us iJourney ekwenzeni album. Really appreciate it. Please make your order and support Zulu Pavarotti. But moving on, we have a young lady by the name of Lasandra Majola, a South African musician. She has finally released a music video for a song titled Will Be Okay. Here's Lasandra explaining more.
Hi, my name is Lysandra Majola, and my song "Will Be Okay" is basically letting you all know that whatever situation that you're currently facing, that you're going through, that's very bad. I wanted to let people know that in the end of the day, you're gonna be okay. Like they always say, when there's always a storm, the end of the storm, there's a rainbow. So I want them to know that there'll always be hope, and you just gotta learn a lesson and move on with life because everything will be okay. I had so much fun, shooting the music video. It was so nice, it was quick and simple, and I had so much fun.
Yes, everything will be okay. The music video is available on Diverse TV, on YouTube, and also on our Facebook page. Go enjoy that video. Everything will be okay. And lastly, we have Umtala TV presenting an event from Miss Classic. It's called Miss Classic and Friends in Jazz. It's going to be happening this weekend on the 17th of July. Yes, it's going to be online and it's going to be live here on the Global Sunday and Diverse TV. If you want to support Miss Classic, please, you can click the link below, or you can go to our Facebook page or go to Umtala TV Facebook page. You'll find more information there and how you can purchase your tickets. It's an amazing event. It has a lot of top artists like Abus Bongilam Goma and many more. So yeah, that's it for today's entertainment news. I will see you guys when we come back. Remember, today we are talking to a gentleman by the name of MC Dude. You should know him. He is everywhere. He is everywhere. It's going to be exciting. Stay tuned with us. If you want to ask questions, do ask questions. Drop comments below and do share if you feel like you want to share. Thank you so much. This is Entertainment News. Lungani Kuala. I will see you when we come back.
You are watching Global Sundays.
Good morning. It's a beautiful Sunday. We're here at Botanic Garden to do a photo shoot for a movie. It's Tembiso Siga Mama, so I'm just giving them a touch-up to get ready to do the photo shoot. Here we go.
Oh, I'm on top of the world. Easy double up. Baby, I'm on top of the world. Easy double up. Put on my club and jaga dule. Easy double up. I'm feeling high, I'm on my zone. Easy double up. Break it down now.
Sanibonani, igama lami nguNothile Isibongo Ngwakaqili, ngidlala indawo kaMaNtuli kwisithembiso sikaMama. I-photo shoot, yeah, it went well. Bekumnandi kakhulu. Si-experience nje izinto eziningi. Siya-enjoya, kumnandi kakhulu, and le movie izophuma soon. Ngicela niyibuke, ngeke nize niyisole.
Sanibonani, uchwepheshe lo wakakhumalo. Lapha kwisithembiso samama ngubaba umkhize isambo. Ngicabanga ukuthi lapha yana kunesifundo esiningi kakhulu. Ikakhulukazi esimeni senhlalo esiphila phansi kwayo. Angibingelele. Igama lami ngumuzi wendoda. Ngikhule bengibiza ngomabheketwane. Kodwa ke kumanje kune-character engiyidlalayo kule movie ethi Isithembiso sikaMama.
Sanibonani, igama lami ngu-Olwethu Kakhumalo, abanye bangazi njengonoma lwemfundo imbongi yamantombi. Ngineminyaka ewu-18, ngifunda eGugula Basha ngenza ugrade 12 manje. Isimzo sikamama imovie ezophuma kungekudala esemeleni ilindele manje eyabhalwa yimina unoma lwemfundo directwa yimina futhi ngilekelelana nomalume be-Walk Entertainment, Busy Bee Media. Saphinde sathola nosizo ku-Black is Goldie makeup artist yethu. Saphinde sathola nosizo futhi sasponsorishwa ngeyikipa i-Blackish. Njengoba nibona nje siku-photoshoot yesithembiso sikamama, yonke into ready, omantuli bayashutha, babomdala bayashutha. Sabaweli nje ukuthi iphume, ngiyazi nami ngilangazelele guys. So nje ukubhala kwami movie, it was during the COVID-19. I had to do something ngokubhala kwami ngumbhali. Kahle kahle ngale movie le ngithi ngiqinisekisa ukuthi amazwi omzali ayohleze leso kukhanya empilweni yomuntu. Ngisho ngathiwa izinto obhekana nazo zinzima kangakanani. So ngale movie le ngibuyisa ithemba kwasebelilahlile. Laze lafa elikaMthaniya sibhekile. Nithule nithi ngilifa elikaphunga noMageba. Ngiyazi ukuthi mengavuka isithuli sikandaba kusenje ungasuke sinamathambo esidumbu. Mina ngibuza umbuzo wodwa. Sewashonaphi lo waZulu wawugabengo uyadela wena usulapho. Yeah, njengoba ngishilo la nomncane just 2 seconds.
All right, beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
Cut.
Welcome back, everybody, to all our lovely viewers at home who are watching right now. This is your one and only Global Sunday TV show where you're going to enjoy to the fullest. I want to introduce to you now one of our best producers. The guy is a radio presenter and he is an artist. And he also play a big role in our community as a good leader. And also he is one of our best event organizers, as we saw in Guamashu when he was organizing best event. And also, yeah, he's a good friend. I would like to introduce him to you, the Global Sunday viewers. Welcome to our TV show, dude. And can you please tell us about yourself?
Hi everyone. I'd like to greet everyone that is watching right now. My name is Dude, but that is just a stage name. My actual name is Bongusa Mngobe. Born and raised in Guamashu, matriculated in Guamashu. I did my matric long time ago. After matric, I went to study civil engineering at DUT. Was a dropout like most of the artists in the industry. Then after that, I went to study. Okay, before I went there, I went to work at one of the biggest retail store in the country, in the continent. And then I studied retail management. I was a retail manager for quite some years, but you know, because I always had passion for music, passion for entertainment, with a lot of things that I'm doing in the entertainment space. Like for example, I'm a rapper. I also do events. I have a brand called Street Cheetah. So like that passion drove me to quit work, to quit my job that I was doing. In 2019 December, then I quit. Then I had to follow my passion, of which is what I'm doing at the moment. So and doing that, so then I realized, you know, with music, you have to have a good budget. You have to be coming from a very well background, or you have to have people that are pushing you in order for you to make it in the industry. So with me, I had to be smart in how I'm gonna do things, you know. So I studied radio last year, at the beginning of last year, and just as soon as I finished doing radio, then got a job at Inanda FM. Officially now, I'm there for just a year. So now with the connection that I've created within that short period of space, I have managed to be pushing my music myself into other radio stations, into more platform now than I used to before I joined the radio. So yeah, man, I think that is me. That is it. So I'm a rapper, I'm an MC, event host, I'm a radio producer, co-host, event organizer. I do almost everything that is there within entertainment industry.
I think that's fantastic, and you said about following your passion. I often think about this. If everybody in the world followed their passion, all of the jobs would get done. There, you would still have your town drunk and your evil CEO and your, strict school teacher and your, scary nurse, and you'd still have everybody. You'd have a bus driver, everybody, but everybody be doing something they love. One of the things that we have that's consistent about all of our guests and all of our panelists, we all have dedicated our lives to something other than ourself, something that is either society or community, or the passion we have to do things. And what's interesting is what we all do is we all work on communicating. Because if you have a passion, you can't keep it to yourself. So I think you are an incredible inspiration. And also, I hope our young listeners understood what you said. You said that it looks like you have to have money and position and friends to be able to make it. But you said, but I was smart. You thought radio. And you put yourself in the radio world, which gave you all of those things except probably money. But you don't need the money at first if you have the connections. Like Lady Gaga said, she said you just need one person who's in a position of authority one time to give you a chance. And then if you take that chance, everything else comes. So I think that you're just a shining example here. I'll turn it over for David to welcome you now.
Yeah, greetings, dude, from Australia. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, I haven't met many radio announcers in my life or people, so it's good for me. On very rare occasion, I'll have an interview with a person on radio, and I love the radio studio. Do you like it in there when you're in your office? I guess you could call it that.
You mean when I'm on radio?
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. Only there like 2 days a week, but like whenever I'm away, I feel like, hey, when is the day coming again? My show is on Friday, 7 to 9 SA time, 7 to 9 p.m. and Saturday 6 to 9 p.m. So when I leave on Saturday, I feel like, hey, I feel like I can rush the week to come back to Friday again because I love it so much.
Yeah, I think studios are creative places, and I guess you've got music happening, and I guess you've got interviews happening, and maybe opinions on occasion. You have to imagine the audience in their cars or in the shower, or listening, and while they're making some food or anything that's going down. So I think radio. I thought with TV coming in, radio would have taken a back step, but I think people going to work, driving, they're still using radio. So it's wonderful you're part of that. That's excellent. Over to you, Miss Classic.
Wow, dude, you're such an interesting, talented young man, versatile creative arts in KwaMashu in South Africa. So we are so proud to have you. And I'm honored to also be working with you at the Inanda radio. And yeah, you are such a very good character, and you have respect. That's what I like about you. But before we can waste any more time, I guess we're going to just pop into the news and then talk more about you when we come back. We are so excited to hear more about you.
Okay.
Welcome. This is Global Sunday News. I'm Kenneth Ludden reporting from Arizona in the United States today. Our news feed today, the first segment comes from all over the world. There is distress. People are not getting along. There has been an assassination of a world leader in Haiti by a combination of gangs. The world has not seen this since the 1940s and 50s. We also have a very difficult political, legal thing going on with the former Prime Minister of South Africa. The Philippines and China are at each other's necks. And yet, the former President Donald Trump is simply stirring the pot and stirring the pot. Let's watch this, and we will talk about it at the other side of the news, first segment.
Almost 30 could have been involved in the assassination of Haiti's Juvenal Moise on Wednesday. That's according to the country's chief of police. Now, he said a number of those allegedly behind the attack were likely to have been foreigners, but the acting prime minister has told the BBC it was probably masterminded by Haiti's oligarchs. Well, I'm joined now by BBC's Latin America and Caribbean editor, Vanessa Bushluter, on Skype here in London. Vanessa, as we get more detail of this assassination, it becomes ever more extraordinary. What is the latest information about who did it and how it happened?
Well, what we have been told by the chief of police is that all but 2 of the 28 suspects are supposedly Colombians. And of course, the Haitian government said from the very get-go that this was an operation by foreign mercenaries. And the fact that 26 out of the 28 are thought to have been Colombians would bolster that theory. However, the question that everybody in Haiti wants answered is who was behind it? Who was the mastermind behind it? Who paid these people to come to Haiti and kill the president?
Also, there's some very bizarre detail to this, because on the one hand, it would seem highly organized if indeed these suspects were behind it. There's a lot of them. They were heavily armed, and yet ultimately they were found, as I understand it, some of them hiding in the bushes by passers-by. So again, are Haitians able to make any sense of what they're hearing?
No, and I think that those are the kind of questions that are being asked by Haitians and also by people abroad. Questions about the timeline, questions about how, if they were as highly organized as the authorities said, why didn't they have a getaway plan? Haiti is located on an island. Why didn't they have speedboats to get away? I mean, they were in a port city. If the first indications that we've been hearing are true, that they came from Colombia and crossed over from the Dominican Republic, they seem to have had a plan of how to get into the country, how to get into the private residence of the president as well, but not really how to extricate themselves from the situation once they had killed the president.
Indeed. And Vanessa, just very quickly, what now do you think? Because the interim prime minister is suggesting that this was the work of organized criminal gangs. We know that in Haiti generally, the violence level connected with gang activity is rising. How unstable is the country?
Hugely unstable. And of course, there's also a discussion going on about who should be the man in power. The acting prime minister, Claude Joseph, says he is the man who should be ruling now until elections can be held and a new president elected. But just before the president was killed, he had nominated, the president who's now deceased, had nominated a new prime minister. And this man wants to be in charge as well. And there's a discussion going on now about who the legitimate interim prime minister should be. So there's more instability, as you can imagine. And the coming days are just mind-bogglingly confusing, not just for people in the country, but also for observers abroad.
Yeah, Vanessa, I know you'll keep monitoring it very closely, and we'll keep turning to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Of South Africa, the country's former president, Jacob Zuma, has been found guilty of contempt of court and sentenced to 15 months in prison. Now, this has never happened in South Africa's history. Zuma did not follow a court order to appear before a commission investigating allegations of pretty devastating corruption during his presidency. Zuma has been embroiled in financial scandals, accused of corrupt behavior by his own former cabinet ministers, and he's also standing trial on charges that he took bribes tribes during an arms deal back in 1999.
So there's a Chinese Coast Guard vessel that's watching us at the moment. It's done 3 sweeps. First of all, 200 meters away, then 100 meters away, and now 50 meters away. It's watching our every move. There are currently 4 Chinese vessels patrolling this area on the outskirts of the shoal. So you may be wondering how we got inside the shoal itself, but we are traveling in a small boat, and that means that we could move across the shallow parts of the reef to move into the area without having to go through the main entrance, which has a deeper entry point. Now, if you're a bigger boat, that would run aground on the reef that we moved across easily. I spoke to the captain of our crew, and he told me in the past, pre-2012, before China claimed this as their territory, that this area used to be swarming with trawler ships and fishermen from Taiwan, from China, from the Philippines, and from Vietnam. But now it's relatively quiet. Let's not forget also there is a 3.5-month-long ban on fishing, a unilateral ban by China at the moment. So that might explain why it's quiet. This is Scarborough Shoal at low tide. You can see hundreds of these rocks jutting out from the waterline. And although it seems like a benign place, this is an area that is at the center of a major geopolitical dispute. On the one hand, China claims large swathes of these waters as theirs under their 9-dash line map. And then you have countries like the United Kingdom, United States, Australia, and India coming together with this Indo-Pacific doctrine, this idea that these waters should be free and accessible to all. Coming. Okay, let's go.
Now to the ongoing Trump Organization criminal probe and new details from the indictment. The Washington Post reporting that internal spreadsheets kept by the Trump Organization that tallied the hidden payments provided a roadmap for prosecutors. Prosecutors treating these spreadsheets as, quote, the accounting equivalent of a confession. And like his kids, Trump himself can't keep his mouth shut. At a rally in Florida, he admits the crime in public and downplays the criminal charges.
They go after good, hard-working people for not paying taxes on a company car. Company car. You didn't pay tax on the car or a company apartment. You used an apartment because you need an apartment because you have to travel too far where your house says. You didn't pay tax. Or education for your grandchildren. I don't even know. Do you have to? But does anybody know the answer to that stuff? Okay? But they indict people for that.
This is my confession. Does anyone even know the answer to that? Yes, I do. Off-the-book schemes are illegal. Now, where this case goes next is anyone's guess. Prosecutors are still pressuring indicted CFO Alan Weisselberg to start talking. And now Mary Trump is out with a stunning claim about who might flip first.
There will be other people who might be more willing to flip than Alan. And I think among those might well indeed be my cousins.
Oh, interesting. Like the Trump kids?
Ivanka also received, I don't remember the amount, but
Yes,
at least hundreds of
consultant
thousands
money.
of dollars in quote unquote, right, consulting fees. That's not a thing. You're either an employee or you're not an employee. So I think we're going to find a lot more of that kind of thing going on. And she's much less likely to stay loyal than Alan Weisselberg.
We have entered into an era in our world development where diplomacy is more important than ever. It is very, very difficult, having come from the past 4 or 5 years where nationalism was so rampant in the world. We must rely on diplomacy, and diplomacy doesn't mean that you just sit and talk and make friends. You have very, very difficult strategic conversations. And to keep the world in balance, we have to all be very aware of what is at stake, what we offer and what we need. And that is the language of diplomacy. And now we're going to go to an excellent video called Impilo. And at the end of that, we will return to our questions with McDude.
You are watching Global Sundays.
Senza, fatima senzeni, Amazelo, no depression, no crisis, no traumatized, out no stress, no depression, no crisis, no traumatized, out no stress, no depression, no crisis, no traumatized, out no stress. Wekabanza kwampumeleli, pumelelo sofika nini ngekudala. Wekabanza kwampumeleli, pumelelo sofika nini ngekudala. Wekabanza kwampumeleli, pumelelo sofika nini ngekudala. Wekabanza kwampumeleli, pumelelo sofika nini ngekudala.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Global Sunday. We have MC Dude with us, a radio announcer, a rapper, and a multi-talented artist we're speaking to, very excited to speak to this morning. How are you, Dude?
I'm okay, man. I can't complain. How are you doing?
We're good. So I'm going to hit you up with some questions. This one's an easy one as a starter. Kwamashu, I believe, is the district where you were born. So can you tell the viewers in the globe where that is and what sort of a place is it?
Kwamashu is in Durban, and Durban is in KwaZulu-Natal, as a province, and KwaZulu-Natal is in SA. So Kwamashu is a beautiful place. The landscape is good. The people are good. It's the entertainment. Yeah, man. What else can I say about Kwamashu? I believe I explained everything in the beginning, but Kwamashu is an era where people used to think it's a bad place because of the things that were happening in the past. But people have worked very hard into making sure that they change that perception and to make sure that they look Kwamashu as more of a tourist attraction rather. People can come to have fun in Kwamashu. We have beautiful entertainment places like your Artisan. Yeah, man. There's a lot. There's a lot. It's just it's one area that you can come and visit anytime.
Okay, is it in the north of the city, south, or whereabouts in Durban itself?
It's in the center.
In the middle. Okay.
It's the center of Durban.
Wow.
Not south, not north. It's in the center of Durban.
Mr. Ludden, over to you.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I believe it's in Kwamashu is the YMCA, and during the apartheid,
yes,
they would put these insane curfews with not enough time for people to get home, and if the blacks were found not at home by the curfew, then they would be arrested, and being arrested was very much not a good thing. And I know that it's laughable to say it understated so severely. It was horrible. It was torturous. And the YMCA became the place where people could go. Anybody who was there and it was nearing curfew, if they went to Kwamashu, to the YMCA, they had safe haven till morning, till the curfew was lifted. And, you know, from that, I think that history, that in coming into the modern era, when apartheid is no longer the stated system, although it's very much still alive in many ways. The expression of artists, the people being able to speak out. I think that that's what, when I think of Kwamashu, that's what I think of, that people found their voice, they were given a chance, and all of the arts just exploded that expression. Including leading to people like yourself and Miss Classic. It is truly a remarkable place on earth, and I hope everybody out there will go there once we're able to travel again. It is an astonishing place.
So, do you broadcast from there, dude, or do you have to go somewhere else in the city? Are you is that still your home after all these years?
Can you repeat the question?
The Kwamashu, is that where you're still based? Are you broadcasting from there with your radio, or are you in other parts of Durban?
No, my radio station is at Inanda. So Inanda is nearby Kwamashu. So there's we call it an ink area, where there are 3 townships that are close, in Tuzuma, in Inanda, Kwamashu, and Tuzuma. So the radio station is not far from Kwamashu. It's just like a few kilometers from Kwamashu.
Okay. And you've got other family in Kwamashu? You got parents or siblings?
Yes, definitely, man. I was born and raised here, so my family is here at Kwamashu. Everyone that I grew with, everyone that's within my family is at Kwamashu.
Okay. Miss Classic.
Yes, what we're still talking about our Kwamashu is now, dude. I can easily see someone from the character who grew up out of Kwamashu, in terms of weakness and strength. You can see by character. I know that Kwamashu people are very strong people, talented, and they fighters. They go-getters actually, and they are most strong. You can tell a person who didn't grow up in Kwamashu, they will look like a coconuts. They'll be weak. So I'm very proud. I'm very proud to have you as a brother in Kwamashu who is not shy to show the skill, to put the light on top of the table and let the world to see it shining for everyone internationally. So from what I've said already about Kwamashu people, as I'm from Kwamashu as well, what are the qualities that you think if you didn't grow up Kwamashu, you would have missed in your life?
Okay, the talent aside, because the talent, I was born with the talent, but I think it was very important for me to grow up in Kwamashu, to see what I've all the things that I've witnessed. But I think the quality is, like you mentioned it already, that you are strong because you're coming from a background where people, they fight for everything. So fighting for everything in life make you strong. So I think that's one of the greatest quality. And you can see people in front of you using whatever that they have to make it in life. So I think that's also another quality. So maybe if I grew up, maybe because there's different places. Maybe if I grew up in a farm, I wouldn't have the advantages that I had growing up in Kwamashu. Or maybe if I grew up in the suburbs, I wouldn't have witnessed people fighting for what they want to make it in life. So I think the qualities first is that it growing up in Kwamashu, it makes you stronger because it's a place where there's a variety of people. There's a lot of things that are happening there. There's a lot of opportunities that you can grab. So I wouldn't think of growing growing up in any other place beside Guamashu. So I think I was very lucky.
And you talk about being strong, fighting and being strong. What I have seen in Kwamashu and in South Africa broadly, but very much is centered in Durban, is that there is such a respect because everybody is a fighter, everybody is a survivor, everybody has a story to tell. And so what I see is that this being a fighter and becoming strong is a bit in an unconventional way because there's also this incredible respect, one person to the other. Everybody gets to make their statement. Everybody gets to be strong. Everybody gets to fight for what they're fighting for. It's truly an incredible thing to witness and to be part of. You are a musician among all of the other things that you are, but you develop songs, you write songs. When you're developing songs, and I imagine your experiences in Kwamashu help with this, but what leads you to make your statement, to fight for your thing, to lead in the way you lead? How do you do that when you translate that into writing a song?
So just to get to your question, you want to know how to write music?
Well, what leads you when you're developing a song? From getting the idea to bringing it all the way through. What is that process for you?
It depends, man. It depends. There's a lot of things. Sometimes it's just sometimes you write about your own experience. So what you've experienced will lead you in writing a certain music. Or sometimes you write about other people's experience. It depends sometimes on the mood and what you feel like writing at that time. But it is not always about your experience. It's sometimes other people's experience. It's about what you see. So, like if I'm writing a love song, I remember the last time I wrote a love song, I was singing. I had to look into other people's relationships. Then I was able to write a meaningful song through other people's experience. So it's I'm not sure whether I've answered your question right.
No. That's it's where we get our inspiration from, and you're talking about having an authentic voice, because if it's your experience or someone else's, it's something that's worth talking about. David, you're a musician. What is your take on that?
When I always meet artists such as yourself, dude, and they do the rap, it's a genre that came a bit after my generation came through. As I was growing up, I heard remnants, probably early in the States, it was already starting, but it was about the 80s or something. I started to hear this music coming out of America, this hip hop and rapping and things. So did you do any other music prior to doing rap, or have you just developed that from your speaking and then you apply it? Do you collaborate with people?
Myself, I only do rap, but I've collaborated with a lot of other people outside hip hop. I've done Afro pop, I've done R&B pop, I've done Maskandi, even gospel, but with collaborating with other musicians. So I believe music is diverse. So you can't say because I'm a rapper, so now I'm gonna be stuck into that part now. So yeah, I've done a lot of things. At the moment, I'm working on an album. So the album that I'm working on now is very musical, So I'm not featuring any other rapper on this album. So I'm just featuring vocalists, people that are bringing something different. So that when you listen to my album, you can have the feel of Afropop, you can have the feel of R&B, gospel, Maskandi, So yeah, I just work with anyone that's suitable at that time to be on the project that I'm working.
And do you do the backings, or do you collaborate with the backings, or you participate playing another instrument as well as the voice?
I would just, with hip hop, I believe we don't normally use any other instrument or backing artist. We just work with the producer who creates a beat, and then I rap on it. Yeah, right.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I teach at a school, flexible learning school. We have all Australian Indigenous children. They're all into rap. That they love it. So I'll have to get your links as well, and I'm sure they'll be wrapped. Excuse the pun, in what you're doing. Mr. Lingani, I believe it, and others. I think we're heading off to the news. Thanks for that, dude.
Okay, thank you. Here for the Global Sundays, I am Mr. Ludden. And our second news clip today, as we often do, we're looking at COVID. The situation in Indonesia is dire. It is absolutely incredible how bad it is. We will remember from a few weeks ago how in India, where the practice is to cremate the bodies, they were not able to keep up with the deaths. And that's now happening in Indonesia, and it's coming into all kinds of problems socially. There are, this Delta variant is growing worldwide. So it is critical to get vaccinated. So our entire second segment today is about a global review and analysis of the vaccination of the world. And so here with our second segment, we will talk to you at the other side. We will return to MC Dude, but watch this.
Infection is on, injection is on, but immunizing the global population against COVID-19 presents an unprecedented challenge.
No one's ever tried to vaccinate an entire planet as fast as they're trying to do it now.
The rich world has most of the global vaccine supply, prompting many countries to turn to Chinese and Russian jabs when it's not yet completely clear how safe or effective they are.
It might turn out that these are really great vaccines, but unless you see the underlying data, you can't be absolutely sure.
Will gambling on these jabs pay off? Or could it have negative consequences for the great vaccination drive? New mutations of COVID-19 are placing health systems under increasing strain. And the stakes are higher than ever in the global vaccination race.
It's amazing we've even got these vaccines at all. This has happened in under a year. It's a miracle, I think.
The challenge for the world now is how to supply and distribute these vaccines. Just a handful of countries have managed to give a first dose to over 5% of their population. And some vaccines are easier to distribute than others. Of the 3 jabs to have been approved for use by stringent regulators, 2 made by Pfizer, BioNTech and Moderna require storage at low temperatures, making them more suitable for use in the rich world. Israel is leading the rollout of the Pfizer jab. Just over 30% of the population have received at least 1 dose, making them the most immunized nation in the world. Israel was helped by a deal with Pfizer, which gave it access to jabs in exchange for data about how the vaccine was working. And the country's size and population density also helped.
Israel's a small country, and distributing the Pfizer vaccine is easier when you can move it around without it heating up and spoiling.
The third vaccine to receive authorization from stringent regulatory bodies offers hope of wider and faster distribution. Developed by AstraZeneca and Oxford University, it can be kept in a normal fridge.
The AstraZeneca vaccine is the vaccine I think that most of the world will use. It's cheap, it will be plentiful, and will be made in lots of places around the world.
But rolling out this vaccine poses 2 big challenges. First, many poorer countries will struggle to get it into arms quickly and safely.
It's much more than just flying them to the airport. Even though the Astra vaccine is suitable because it can go in a fridge, even India is going to have a real cold chain problem.
And the second problem is that the vast majority of these jabs have already been snapped up by the rich world. 3/5 of the 2 billion confirmed orders of AstraZeneca doses will go to high-income countries, along with all of the Moderna vaccine and almost 3/4 of the Pfizer vaccine. Even taking into account the high death rates in the rich world, some nations pre-ordered significantly more than they will need. America ordered enough to vaccinate the population twice over. The UK ordered enough to vaccinate the population 3 times. And Canada, where deaths have been relatively low, ordered enough to vaccinate the population 5 times. The Director General of the World Health Organization has dubbed this hoarding a me-first approach, which could increase suffering and prolong the pandemic.
Rich countries ordered more vaccine than they need. They, at some point, are going to have to donate some of it. The question is, when are they going to donate? That is a political question and will depend on the mood of the countries involved.
The good news is that there is a scheme to make sure lower and middle-income countries have access to jabs. It's called COVAX and works like a global vaccine buying club that allows rich countries to subsidise vaccines for poorer countries and pool demand to get better prices. Following his inauguration, President Biden was quick to announce America would join the group of 190 participating economies.
The big hope in COVAX is that about 3% of each country's population will have got adequate supplies of vaccine by the summer. That's roughly the number of healthcare workers in most countries. That's quite a lot, but not enough by any means to vaccinate much of the world's population.
That leaves a large global shortfall in safe and effective vaccines. And in an attempt to make up for this, many countries are turning to China and Russia. Both nations have made vaccines which they say work and are safe. The problem is it's hard to know if that's true.
They were approved before having gone through phase 3 trials. It might turn out that these are really great vaccines, which would be really good for the world. But unless you see the underlying data, you can't be absolutely sure.
Governments desperate to immunise their populations have been making deals directly with the jab developers to host clinical trials in exchange for vaccinations.
将作为全球公共产品，优先向发展中国家提供。
Chinese vaccines are being used or trialled in several countries around the world, including high-income nations like the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, which are just behind Israel in terms of the doses of vaccine delivered per head. That's good news for China, but it's raised concerns the country may be exploiting the vaccine rollout for political purposes.
The pandemic is such a kind of global event that inevitably soft power becomes a factor too. If you look at the way China has been doing deals with countries to give its vaccine to, say, countries in the Middle East, it's part of a move to try and build relationships with those countries.
The lack of transparency around some of these trials is worrying. The full Sinopharm trial data from the UAE were never published, and tests of a different Chinese vaccine in Brazil have also raised questions. A jab made by Chinese company Sinovac was initially found to have 78% efficacy, but this was later downgraded to 50%. Just clearing the threshold for emergency approval from regulators.
None of these countries are free to disclose their data in the way they would like because they're bound by contractual arrangements with the Chinese. So they can't tell us what we want to know.
This lack of transparency has important knock-on effects on trust, and trust in vaccines is crucial for making them effective.
Trust is what determines how many people are willing to take the vaccine. Maximum trust depends, I think, on maximum transparency.
The vaccine rollout that has perhaps raised most concerns around trust has come from Russia.
Сегодня утром впервые в мире зарегистрирована вакцина против новой коронавирусной инфекции.
The vaccine, named Sputnik V, was authorized in Russia last summer after being tested on just 76 people. and has since been cleared for emergency use in 14 countries worldwide.
It's no accident that the Russian vaccine is called Sputnik V, a reference to one of the great soft power triumphs of the Soviet Union in getting the first man-made object into space. It was the first vaccine to be announced, and frankly, it was rushed out. In some ways, it was designed to burnish Russia's reputation, but the fact that it went to those lengths and cut those corners has done Russia's reputation no favours.
Getting the vaccine rollout right matters. Modelling suggests if jabs are distributed according to global need, rather than being concentrated in rich countries alone, it could save 1.5 times more lives. But doing this will require levels of global cooperation that have been lacking in recent years. If the world gets it right, it could pave the way for greater collaboration on issues like climate change. Get it wrong, and it could deepen the cracks in an already fragmented global system.
If it's seen that the pandemic has been dealt with well and fairly, and that the mechanisms for governing the world have functioned, then that's an enormous vote of confidence. But if the pandemic is seen as selfish and fractious, it makes all those other issues much harder to deal with. I'm Edward Carr, The Economist Deputy Editor. I hope you've enjoyed this film. If you want to read more of our COVID coverage, please click on the link opposite. And keep an eye out for The Jab, our new COVID podcast. And don't forget to subscribe.
So many times on this broadcast, being responsible for providing world news globally, I have said, get vaccinated. I've said it over and over and over again. In America, there is an absolute crisis because even though we've got a very vigorous vaccination campaign, it's falling along party lines. People still following our former President Trump are refusing vaccines. And in the areas where they are the largest percentage of the population, there are again 1,000 new cases a day, hundreds of deaths a day. It is imperative, people, get the vaccine. With that message, then, we're going to go to a music video called Double My Pills. We'll see you on the other side of this.
You are watching Global Sundays.
She said, please don't leave me hanging. Low eyes, red some flakes, so shit, I shake it. Good night, she's wanna kiss it, yeah. 17 cars, 17 girls, 17 models, 17 bottles. All my niggas eating this shit. Drop top, pepper drink, then we popping pills. Pull up, screw, then we popping pills. I spend above 20, we be popping pills. If she want it, she gon' get it, eat her like a meal. Upward music, now we in the building.
I just got some keys in my party. Bottles popping, yeah, we in a lobby. Smoking everywhere, I got my hobby. Pour up here and roll up, it's my party. Dabble my pills, dabble your pills. 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 I double up, double up. I double up, double up. I double up, double up. Yeah, you know how we party, yeah, yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. You're still in our TGS TV show, and I hope you're still enjoying. Dude, are you still around?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I hope you are still keeping warm because I know in South Africa right now it's very cold. As you can see, I'm just wearing. I just put my jacket on because I was freezing. Okay, because we discovered that on our research, we searched and saw so many talents and the skills that we have. So it's so many talents. You are versatile in South Africa. So we want to know, including being a rapper, how do you develop new songs?
How do I develop new songs? I guess it's with the experience, you know. It depends what story we want to tell at that moment, and then we'll engage, and then I engage into that's whatever that I want to tell, or whatever story that I want to tell. Like for example, there is a song that I've just released. It's called Graveyard. So with this one, it was things work differently from how I normally write the songs, my music. So with this one, we wanted to say, because like last year, I released 2 tracks that were out of my comfort zone. So I normally do strictly hip hop, strictly rap music. So, but last year we released 2 tracks that are and a bit of a mix of an Afro pop, because I work with One. But with this one, we decided, you know what, because now in the streets, it's gonna be like we lost it. So let's go back and do like a strict hip hop. So I called the other guy called OB Magic, who is a very good producer. He does beautiful beats, hip hop beats, rap beats, and he's also a rapper. So you understand, you have a good ear for rap music. So I call him to create the beats, and from the scratch we say, okay, what do we want to achieve? You know, we want to achieve we want to bring back the street cred for Dude as a rapper, because as much as Dude is known for a lot of other things that he does, but now I still want to maintain that street cred, you know. So in my mindset, I had to put my mindset on that, so that when I write my lyrics, it's gonna be exactly what I want to achieve, you know. So to answer your question exactly, how do I develop music? Is that it depends on what I want to achieve with that certain music that I'm writing at that time. So yeah, that's how I actually develop the lyrics and everything.
Interesting. Mr. David?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So when I have students at the school, as I said, my kids are teenagers. They're very into the hip hop, and their literacy skill in English, and they speak home languages, and they speak dialects between their Aboriginal heritage cultures, and they speak a little bit of the English that when they come to the school. But anyway, we encourage them to write their lyrics, and then we try and find a beat for them. So it's a little bit like the process that you're explaining to us, and it's very powerful. As you said, when there's a topic that interests them, then they might be stuck for words, but they're motivated. They're so motivated. Our kids don't go home usually with their homework, but if they've got a rap song, particularly the girls who they want to work, they come up to me and they say, "Teacher, can I take this home and work on this music?" And they're learning their English and they're learning poetry, because so I see a lot of the hip hop music as a form of poetry. It becomes music as well, of course, but that's how I look at it. It's like poets who might have not used music, but they're inspired to write about something. Do you see it in the same way?
Yes, definitely. Just to start with, the meaning of rap is rhythm and poetry. So hip hop it goes hand in hand with poetry, because hip hop is not just it's not a genre, it's per se. It's a culture. So within the culture, there's the biggest element is rap, you know, and rap is rhythm and poetry. So it's really working hand in hand with poetry, because now we're telling stories in a different way, but some of the stories are very much clear. Some of the stories you have to go in deep to understand the story, same like a poet, you know. So you can never say you are doing hip hop and you don't understand poets. It doesn't work like that. So it's always like this.
Thank you for sharing that. I've never, no one ever explained to me rap, rhythm and poetry, and now it just makes sense.
Yes.
So, any comments, Ken?
Well, I think that it's incredible, you know, and when you talked about getting into a completely new zone because of who you were working with, it makes me want to ask if you could collaborate with anybody in the world, living or dead, past, present, future, who would you collaborate with, and what would that be about?
I think there's a lot of people that I would like to collaborate with, but in terms of hip hop, it will be Jay-Z. If we're talking about globally, it will be Jay-Z because it's very powerful. The status, his status is speak on its own. So working with him will mean something in my career. But locally, the one guy that I would like to work with, who would it be? I think I'm already working with one of the greatest, Stella Kowane. So, yeah, locally I'm sorted, man. But internationally, with
Yes, Miss Classic, but did you say, I didn't hear what you said.
No, I was saying maybe he was thinking about working with me.
He's good.
David, on to our next question.
Yeah, I'm on to the next question. I was just thinking, just on that last comment, that my kids thought trumpets were from the dark ages or they weren't sure what it was. It was very shiny, but when I put a couple of little riffs on their hip hop, they went, "Oh, how do you know all this hip hop?" I said, I didn't tell them the secret. It's all music.
Right.
Anyway, let's go to the next. So in 2012, Walmart, and I've been there, you can buy a shotgun and I can throw a magazine in as a special. Walmart was under a lot of criticism in the US for unfair treatment of their employees and abusive relationships with their suppliers. Now, that same year, that's 2012, you performed at the Walmart seminar in the US. What was it like and how did they treat you?
Again, just to clear the air, it was not the same air. I went there in 2013. So yeah, it was one of the great experience. It's a highlight of my music, man. Because at first, I did mention that I was working for one of the best retailer in the country. So I was with Macro, and Macro is under Messmart, and Messmart is in partnership with Walmart. So each and every year they have this conference. So they choose people from different countries to go and represent. So I was one of the guys that was chosen to go and represent Macro in South Africa or Messmart in South Africa with other guys as well. So when I went there, because I'm an opportunist, so I always see an opportunity because there was gonna be events and stuff. So myself and Jason, there's a guy by the name of Jason Dalu. So we were already going there. So we decided, let's create something. Let's collaborate and go and showcase our talent in the States. And then we did exactly that. And it was a great experience. We shared the stage with the likes of John Legend, Jennifer Hudson, Elton Jones, and the other guys. So yeah, man, that's the highlights of my career. If that's one thing that I would tell my children, my great children, it will be exactly that, about the experience that's I got when I went to the States.
Awesome. Miss Classic.
Nice. And dude, how did they treated you that side? And were you also recognized when you came back? Because I realized that we will go out and be ambassadors and go and represent South Africa overseas. And when we come back, it's like, in South Africa, we expect them to wave the flag that we went there to represent them, because it's not anyone who can just go across, So how was it like? How did they treated you? That side and also this side when you came back as you represented them?
At the States, I was in the center of everything that was happening there. So the whole journey, I was always in the front. like we will gather as well at Mesmart Africa, and then there will be other groups as well. Your group UK, group India, group China, group Australia. There was a lot of other people, but I was always in the center. So the reception was great. It was wonderful. People, they receive us so much. Like the minute you tell them you're coming from South Africa, everyone was saying, "Oh wow." They have so much respect for the country. They show that to each and everything that we were doing. And then when we came back in the store, because now remember I told you it started within the store. At the store, they gave us the respect, and that's we represented them so much, but not so much with outside the store.
Okay. How was it take, Mr. Laden?
It's hard, one of the reasons that South Africa is so well respected in America, it comes from, back in the 70s with Mr. Simon, who went and really exposed people, but also Maria Makemba, I believe that's how you say her name correctly. South Africa has been a shining example of arts, and of course with Black Bombaza and all of the work that they did, South Africans are really admired as artists in America, and actually, I'm always bemoaning the fact that the arts are not appreciated so much in America. I have a feeling if I were South African running my academy, I would get more appreciation from America than being American and doing it. But it is also, it's difficult, when you have a corporation, a store that is promoting you and then they recognize you. But, you have helped all of South Africa by representing it. Really, the South Africans should know about that. And South African musicians keep coming up. They keep going mainstream. They keep, going all over the world. And one of the newcomers to the scene, who is just starting that journey, is Lysandra. And so we're going to go and look at her new video right now. And then on the other side, we'll be back to talk with you some more, dude.
You are watching Global Sundays.
Welcome back to the panel and to our lovely guest, Mr. MC Dude, all the way from South Africa in Durban, Esnqawini. Yeah, we're back. I hope you're still enjoying.
So we got another question for you, dude. This one's about comparing television and internet mediums with radio. So the question is, since television was rolled out in the 20th century and now internet, they've had a major cultural influence worldwide. And as I was talking to you at the start, yet radio remains the single most powerful influencer. And it's mainly because people not only listen to it on their headphones or when they're working on something, but also in their cars while they're commuting, especially in large cities. Now, your success in radio and your loyalty to that form of communication speak to the fact that you do understand the advantage. Do you view it more as entertainment, a public service, cultural influence, or commentary, or even something else entirely?
Sorry, man. I was listening to you, but I actually lost you when you were asking the question. So what is the question exactly?
All right, so I'll won't read it all out again. Our viewers will go to sleep. So television and internet, they're visual and they're powerful. People tune into TV. However, research is saying that radio is still very, very, in fact, even more powerful because, as we were talking about, you could be having a shave in the morning, or you could be, especially in your car in a big city, and you haven't got the TV on you or the YouTube, you've got the radio on. So because of this, do you view radio as more as an entertainment or as a public service? or a cultural influence or commentary or something else. So how are you viewing radio compared to television and internet? How are you viewing it in comparison to it in terms of its power, and how do you use it?
I think in everything that you've mentioned, radio is exactly that, but more as well. I think most people, they depend on radio for an update. I know radio mandatory is to entertain, educate, and to inform, but people, they depend on radio to guide them. Some people, they don't even wanna look at what time is it at that moment, so they depend on radio to tell them, okay, what is the time now? Because they're busy doing a lot of things, but because even if you're not focusing on what you, because TV want you to focus, but radio, you can just listen and do other stuff, but you will know what the time is, what is happening, so I think mostly it's work and to make sure that people, they are informed about everything that is happening, informing about what is happening now, instead of TV. TV is something that is recorded most of the time, so it's just mainly for entertainment. But with radio, I tell you as it happened now. Okay, now that it's happening now. There's a traffic in certain area. You can't drive through that area. There's a protest, as we're having a protest now. That's tomorrow or Monday. People are not going to work because people are informed, because radio tells you what is happening now. So it's work mostly as an informative platform more than anything else.
I think that's a really important point that you made. A lot of TV is pre-recorded. There's a few reality TV shows where you are in the moment, but that's entertainment. And
the reality is, yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
Just making an anecdotal comment. I was told recently there were some people that were in a house that I was staying at, and one of them's dying, and the conversation came up about, in general, one of the last faculties that we have is we lose our sight in most cases before we lose our hearing. It's an interesting, and I think about now radio is really about listening. So it's a very fundamental faculty that most of us are lucky and fortunate to have. And your point, I personally get turned off reality television a lot, but I don't mind listening to a couple of, like a radio announcer or somebody. If I know when I was working overseas, I'd tune into Australian radio early in the morning, and I just felt like I was there, and I was still in Australia, briefly. So I think your radio show is, you're right on the pulse. Something's come up. There's something happening in either Kuala Lumpur or in Indonesia, or something that needs to be talked about. And you are right. You're there in the moment. What do you think, Mr. Ken?
I tend to agree. I stopped listening to radio in the middle to late 1970s because I didn't want somebody else to choose what music I was listening to. And so when I came back to radio, I came back to like radio news, to National Public Radio, for exactly what you said, to be centered, to be organized, to know where I was, to know what time it was, to know what was going on. And so for me, it's much more in alignment, dude, with how you approach it. Because for entertainment, I would much rather choose my own, than whatever somebody else thinks I should listen to. But I'm an obstinate artist myself. So at any rate, I think that it's incredible. And also, another thing that you pointed out, that working in radio is a tool, not just connecting over the airwaves, but connecting with other people who want to communicate, keep current, collaborate, like do life right now, live and out loud, you know what I mean? And I think that that's admirable. What about you, Miss Classic?
Interesting. In this question that you asked, I'm just got a little bit concerned about the part of the community that is disadvantaged of maybe like we have people that are deaf, that are using braille, So I have a concern. I've been always having a concern, actually, just out of curiosity, that I wonder if there is a way of that part of our community to be accommodated into radio, because I know they're missing a lot that can develop and help them a lot in terms of hope. And because in radio, it is an instrument that gives our community hope and something to look forward to and to heal them, because there are a lot of programs that are so closely associated with what they do daily, in our daily basis. So I was just out of curiosity, I was thinking, do you ever think of a radio that can be developed maybe to also accommodate the people that are deaf in our community, that are using maybe braille? Because I never heard such, how do they get in touch with us in terms of radio?
It's quite an interesting point, because I would say it's a point rather than a question, because but I mean, in our days, technology is very advanced. I'm sure someone can come up with maybe with an app that can do something like that. But it's something very interesting, because they also want to be with what is happening at that moment. So I think it's something like that is very interesting. Maybe someone that is watching now or listening can just try to come up with something. It will be very interesting to see something that will work like that.
Exactly.
When I was, I teach dance, and I was invited to go and teach at what's called Gallaudet College in Maryland in the United States. And it's a college for the deaf. And what was very interesting was that there were some deaf students who were partial hearing, and also some some other students who were not deaf, and they would have the radio on, and one or the other of them would sit in the corner and they would just do sign language as the broadcast was coming. They would do like a live feed with sign language for the deaf community. I was very concerned when I went to teach. What was I going to do in terms of keeping them on the music? And when I walked into the dance studio, I noticed that they had really huge speakers, but all the speakers were down onto the ground. They were on the floor. And when you put on the music, you felt it under your feet. You felt the music. And so it was a real awakening. And I think that of course, in a radio, you don't have a broadcast visual that can do the sign language. There is the ability to feel the rhythms and things like that. But I think it's a great new frontier that technology could actually do something useful. They also now have transmitters that can connect into the skull, and the transmitter connecting into the skull can broadcast. So if the reason they can't hear is because of the inner ear deformation, but they can still connect to the brain part that deciphers sound through those implants. And I've seen a lot of people come out of the surgery, and for the first time in their lives, they heard the sounds. And the same thing with the blind. There are these implants they can do now that they can make blind people be able to see and deaf people be able to hear. Of course, that's very costly, and it's not going to reach a lot of people. It's a great question. Thinking about deaf people, thinking about people that don't have what it takes to participate in the mainstream, it brings me to the question: was there a time in your life that everything was falling apart, nothing was working, you didn't fit? And if so, what did you do?
I think it's the only time that I would think of that. It's when I left work.
Okay, it seems like nothing is working. So
Don't we all have those?
yes. Okay. So
sorry.
Oh, no, here comes back. Now you're back. Sorry, you froze there for a moment.
Okay. So what you want me to start from the beginning?
Please.
Yeah, I mean the only time is when I stopped working, because now I didn't have finance to finance everything that I was doing that I wanted to do. So, but it wasn't for a very long time, because I think after I only stopped working in December, in March, in February, March, I started radio course. Then there was like maybe 2-3 months, or 2-3 months. That's when I was still looking for work. Then I didn't know what to do then, you know. Then I started working in under FM, and then things started to flow again. But to be honest, I never had the experience where things were not really working, because I'm always able to think outside the box, to think on my feet of what the next move. So I think one of the greatest gifts that God gave me is to be able to use my brains. You know, I can put it like I'm smart, but maybe someone may not see it that way, you know. However, I'm very grateful of the brain that I have, because I'm able to maneuver and do things differently. So like most people, maybe they will be following one sequence of doing certain things. But with me, I try by all means to see, okay, like for example, when I created my brand Street Cheaters, you know, it was because now I can't be, I can't be waiting for someone to give me a gig all the time, you know? So what else must I do? I have to create my own gigs, you know? And then I realized there's a lot of people that are like me who are not getting gigs. So let me do artist development. So I'm always thinking ahead all the time, you know. Like when I joined radio so that can assist me with my music, you know. So yeah, just to answer your question exactly, I never really had a time where things were not coming together, you know.
That is admirable, and I have just learned some new tools to go forward with my day and my life. Thank you. That was amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, your latest collaboration with Jason Dalu. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, we were working together at Macro, and then we went to the States together in 2013. And then he's also an artist. He does gospel pop. He does pop, but he preach gospel, you know. So he don't do your normal gospel. So he approached me and said, okay, because you're a rapper, let's do something. Let's go collaborate on a song. And then before we even record the song, we went to we performed the song. There was about 26,000 people watching from different countries at the Walmart conference. And then when we came back, we decided, you know what, let's go to the studio, let's record the song. We shot the music video. The song is doing very well. It's last time I checked, it was playing on 10 different countries overseas across, and it was doing very well on YouTube as well. And the song was also nominated on South African Crown Gospel Awards. However, we didn't take it, but we were nominated, and that was big. The song is called Superman. It's such a great song. It's talking about the power that's, you know, it's only God that can give you. That people may not see it in you, but only God can give it to you. So you can do everything. That's why we titled Superman.
That sounds interesting. How can people see it? The video?
It's on YouTube. It's available on YouTube. But however, they titled different. They didn't title my name there. It's written Jason Dalu featuring Bonga, and the track is called Superman. So you can just type that on Google, and then it will take you straight to the YouTube music video.
Excellent. David.
Wow. Okay, dude.
Yes.
We know that you're doing a show every Saturday and Friday and Saturday with Mr. AD there at Inanda FM. Can you tell us about the show? I know you're developing community rappers there, which is, I want to send a shout out to Inanda FM for doing that great job that you're doing there with Mr. AD. Shout out to you guys. Can you tell us about the show? Hood Up.
Okay. The show is strictly hip hop, yeah. So we got 2 days. It's Friday and Saturday. Friday, it's exactly that. It's strictly hip hop. You know, we give you that feel of a hardcore hip hop locally and internationally. But our main focus is locally, where we also giving an opportunity to upcoming rappers to be heard on air. And then Saturday is different, as much as it's still hip hop, but we give you the feel of lounging, you know, as we play more of soft music on Saturday. And as much as we are on community radio, but Hood Up is competing with the big guns. Like it's one of the greatest hip hop show in the country, not just in our province or in the city, but in the country. I can mention a few that are there on our level, but we are competing with really the best, and we are slowly getting the recognition that we do deserve. And what makes things more easy with our show is that myself and the presenter AD Sosibo, we both understand hip hop, and we both coming from the street hip hop background, so we understand all the levels of hip hop. You know, he is also, besides being a presenter, he's also a music producer. So he also produce hip hop. So he create beats as well. He has worked with artists from the ground, and also as I'm a rapper, I'm doing artist development events. So I've been working with the artists way before I joined in under FM. So that make it easy for us to be able to give the listeners what they want, and also what we normally do, we go to the people so that we know what they want, and then give it to them. So yeah, we are rated one of the best hip hop show in the country, and we make sure that we give the platform to everyone. So it doesn't matter whether you're an upcoming or you're already an established hip hop artist. As long as there's something that you're doing good at that time, we give you a platform. So yeah, that's what I can say about the show. And shout out to Inanda FM for giving us an opportunity to do what we like and be able to communicate and to be in contact with everyone that is within the culture. Like I did mention, hip hop is not just a genre. It's not a genre, but it's a culture. And within the culture, there are different elements. And we always make sure that we incorporate and make sure that we give all people a chance to come and showcase all the elements within the hip hop culture. Like we have your DJs, hip hop DJs, your rappers, because rap is a genre within the culture. So we make sure that we have like the features like your Rap Your Hood Up battle, where we call the rappers to come and battle live in the studio. You know, so you have that live feel of what is happening within the hip hop culture. Yeah.
Okay, so a question here for you, dude. Let's talk about your brand new song called Graveyard. Now, what's the story behind the title? Why Graveyard?
Why Graveyard? It's quite an interesting one, that one, because that track have three have three verses. So I wrote 3 verses. Each and every verse I recorded on a different day, you know. So what we wanted to achieve with the song was to achieve that street music, you know. We wanted to go back to where we started to give to maintain the street cred, you know. And then on the last day, after we finished with everything, the beat was on par, was on point, the lyrics were on point, and the hook was on point, and we were listening to the song, you know. In hip hop, even if we're not battling, even if we're not dissing each other, but it's always a competition, you know. So we say to ourselves, you know what, we're done with them. Everyone is dead. So that's why we call it a graveyard.
Oh, everyone's dead.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We're learning lots.
You know that
Wonderful.
they said that about New York City a long time ago. It was a graveyard. The city was dying, and then somebody answered by saying, "Yes, but a rose smells the sweetest right before it dies." No, it's hard. You know, we must use the arts as a platform to wake people back up, you know, to get them to be engaged, to encourage them. You know I've been at concerts where David is playing live and it gets people awake. Miss Classic, you know, she gives her inspirational talks. It makes people wake up. You know, everything we can do is vital, because once we're awake, then we can connect as a community. Then we can be a human race. You know, we can really, really accomplish so much more than just the sum of our parts when we're united and awake.
Yeah, it was lovely to have you here, Mr. MC Dude. And we know that you have accomplished a lot of things, amazing talents, and you still do, as I know you. And so now we are interested to know, what is your ultimate goal at this moment?
Funny, because this is something that we always talk about recently with my associates. That, you know, we mentioned there's a guy that we had in studio. He goes by the name. He used to go by the name of Ngane as a producer. He has discovered the likes of Zagwe, the likes of Dankel, and other few rappers. And now he's releasing his own album, and he's called himself Godfather Ekas now. So one of the things that he mentioned, he said, we our generation now, we are actually left with 10 years to accomplish and do everything that we want to do and achieve everything, and then let the next generation to do what they have to do. And him saying that's one of the things that I took, because like I do a lot of artist development. I said to myself, okay, you know what? Within this period now, let us create an empire. You know, within my circle, I have like one of the great producers, Stelo Kowane, working with him. I'm also a rapper, and I do a lot of other stuff as well. So let's create an empire where we are gonna be able to give back to the new generation of entertainment. You know. So what do I want to accomplish now is to exactly to get to do that. You know, as much as now I'm making a name with the things that I'm doing, but we wanna create an empire, and then maybe sign new guys. That's because, like I've did mention, that there are a lot of things that artists they suffer with. They don't have finance. They have great talents. They don't have finance. Someone have good talent and have finance, but they don't have good. They are not disciplined. You know. So there's a lot of other things that make up an artist. Artists need to be disciplined. Need to be goal driven. They need to have a clear mind of what they want. They need to have means of achieving what they want. Either they have good financial background, or they have someone that is injecting cash to them. So with us, how we're getting into a picture now is that we want to create this empire that we are able to teach and guide the artists, the next future generation of artists, that this is how, that's sort of what you need to do to make it in the industry. This is how you need to carry yourself to make it in the industry. And then we sponsor them with the finance, because now we will be in a space where we are able to do certain things with the connections and everything. So yeah, what we are want to achieve is that I want to build that empire. Street Chillers is not just a name. Street Chillers is a very big brand. It's a brand that I started in 2012. I started with no sponsorship. I know the struggle of creating something out of nowhere. But what I had the street cred, and I also had my street backup. So whenever I take Street Chillers to anywhere, people will come in numbers to support me, you know. So and me creating this thing now, this I want to achieve, you know, it's giving back to say, you know, people, they've supported me. So let me be the one now who give back to the new generation of entertainment. Yeah, I think that's it. That I actually want to achieve in everything that I do now. It's building up to that.
Megas, this is very interesting and inspirational to all youngsters. I'm sure they are listening, and I'm sure they've learned a lot today, and all our viewers at home. If there's anything our panel would like to add on this, from me, I can just take it back to Lungani at the studio. But we enjoy having you here, and we are so grateful for the time that you took to be with us, and we learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I'm still going to learn, because I'm fortunate enough to work with you closely. So if there's nothing else from our panel. Okay.
I just want to say thank you so much, dude, for being part of the show. I mistakenly ended the show. Thank you so much. It has been an amazing interview. I know it's very late back there in South Africa. You made time to speak to us, to speak to the public, to express yourself. That's really amazing. And, you know, I'm looking forward you know, to, you know, having more conversations like this, you know, because they help a lot of people, you know, all around the world. And you know, what's amazing, the most amazing thing that touched me today, what you guys spoke about, is when Miss Classic raised the point about deaf, you know, creating a platform for them to be able to, you know, to engage, or to be not left behind. When things are happening with radio station. But I realize that as the Global Sunday, we have been, you know, doing collaborations with radio stations, you know, and we have been publishing what's happening in the studios of radio stations on YouTube and Facebook. And if you know, Facebook and YouTube already has, you know, the subtitles. You know, when they watch there, they can see the subtitles. You can select which language you want the subtitle to be translated to, and you can always change later on, so they can come back and watch, so that they don't stay behind. So as Global Sunday, I mean, we are working on accommodating people who are deaf, who just go on YouTube and watch one of our shows and see the subtitles, and especially the shows that we're going to be doing in collaboration with the radio stations, because I know radio stations are very, very powerful. They give information like in a second, in which, you know, as we grow, as diverse TV grows, it will be streaming 24/7 in collaboration with other radio stations. So I think I thought that was a really valid point. So thank you so much. for being part of the show. And before I'm going to let you say something, and then I just want to say hello to people who are watching, because we have been ignoring people who are watching at home. So please say something, sir. If you want to say something, then I can say hello to people who are watching at home.
Okay, guys. I think this was a great experience. It has been a great experience being on the show, being on a global platform, having so much to share, and also having so much to learn. Because I believe each and every person, as much as they can be having so much knowledge, but in order for you to grow each and every day, is that you need to be able to learn. You know, each and every day you need to be able to have good listening skills and be teachable, because most people, they are not teachable. They think now, like especially with upcoming artists, I've been observing that they think now, hey, I'm good with what I do, you know, and then what's next? You know, there's so much that you can still learn and be able to grow. So if you can be able to grow each and every day and take one lesson a day, imagine how many lessons that you can have in a year. You know, we have 365. If there's a leap year, there's 366. So if you can count your lesson within a year, it should be 3.
Okay, I'm just going to say hello quickly to Zuli Pavarotti. I'm just going to say hello to Lasandra, who's watching, and I know they left some comments, but unfortunately we're not going to read my comments right now. Vusi Zwane, I can see you. Luno Markets, I can see you. And yes, let me pass it over to my colleagues, and then so they can close the show. I think just in honor of partner, dude, at the end of the show, we're just going to play a music video. Gastelo Gowane. But after you guys have closed the show, it's not my show today, so I'll pass it over. I'll pass it over to you guys. I think disconnectile MC dude, but he'll be right back. Okay, so over to you guys.
Okay, I'm back now. Right back.
Okay, can I say first? All right. I wanted to thank Dude for taking part into working with us in our show, the event that took place at Panzi Museum. The strength and the responsibilities that he did on that day, and ambition that he took, the humbleness, it was so awesome. You know, the dedication that he shown, the love and passion for people he never met before, but he was having a drive to help us out and to make sure that the event is a success. So I want to just thank him for that. We cannot thank you enough, dude, because we are human beings from this earth, but I know God will bless you times 100. You know, you cannot be thanked by us, but I know you will be thanked by somebody else somewhere in return for us. You know, you did a great job. They big up for the great job you did in our anniversary with the Global Sundays. And yeah, that's my last word. It's same thing to say thank you very much for having me here at the Global Sundays, and have faith and lift your head up, and remember, never give up, no matter how much it is. I'll pass it to Mr. David Park.
Thanks, Miss Classic. Dude, real pleasure to meet you. Thanks for educating people like myself. I just missed as I said, I came in on the hip hop. I discovered hip hop later than the younger generations, and probably yourself coming through, and I need to learn so much more. But that's a predominant culture that's running in society at the moment. So we can't put our head in the sand. And now I have many different tastes in music, and I realize one thing anyway, it's all music. It's just different ways we express it and ways we do it. So, and thank you for that. I always do this, and I'm going to do the same to you, and I do it in a sincere way. I say, once the COVID lifts and we can travel, please, someone like yourself, come and visit Australia, come and talk to people here, because your experience, I've been to Africa about 4 or 5 times. I learned so much, but people like yourself and particularly artists would benefit from hearing your not only the conversation of today, but they would benefit, talking to you in a live chat or a forum here in Australia. So yeah, remember that one from our people here. And nice to meet you, Mr. Ludden.
Likewise.
Yes. I'd like to sort of echo what Ms. Classic said. When we celebrated our annual 1 year of the Global Sunday and the show at the Panzi Museum, you really, really brought it. As much as what we do is prepared, we've got to be alive, awake, alert, on our feet, in there, in person, doing it. And that's what you do. And I'm also going to echo what David said. When things are going on, come on over to the US. I've got a nephew who does rap music who would love to meet you. And, a lot of people will benefit. And I wanted to just point out that, I'm from before video, I'm from before television. When I was 6 years old, my parents rented a television, and it was the first time anyone in our entire area had a television. And that was because my father was working for a political campaign, and he had to watch the returns that were broadcast. And that was 1958. And so video, internet, even color and film was just being discovered at that point of time. Air travel was just becoming available to the public, etc. I've seen a lot of things. Radio has been here for longer than any of it. And thank you so much for awakening the viewers out there who may not regularly listen to radio. Tune into your radio. It's live. It's what's happening now. It's not recorded. It's not pre-taped. It is really alive. It's like being in the room or being in the country or being in the city with somebody. And it is truly amazing. And thank you so much for doing that and for being so smart to go there, to give yourself the access and the connections and the backup that you needed to launch your career in the way you wanted. So thank you all. And we will go to you now, dude. What are your last words?
My last word, man, I know I was saying this before I got this disconnected, is that it was very important. Firstly, I would like to thank the opportunity that you're giving me today to be with you guys. It's such an honor. And with all the words that you have said about me, it's given me more energy to move, to push and move forward. But just to mention something to someone that is tuned in now is that, guys, every day, each and every day, you have to learn something new. You cannot know everything, and be able to listen, be teachable, because the only way for you to grow and to move forward is that you take the lessons and be teachable. So I'm saying if we can take one lesson a day, that means you have 365 lessons a year. So yeah, man, do what you do it best, do it fully, be energized all the time. Like when people, they see you, they must get sold to whatever that you are selling. Like I'm selling myself as a brand, as dude. If you see me, you have to be taken for what I do the minute you lay your eyes on me. So just do that. Work on yourself. Understand exactly who you are, what you want, and then go and get it. Okay, on social media, on Facebook, you can follow my page. It's Dude, D-U-D-E, and you will see this handsome gentleman standing there. Then you can just like and follow on Twitter and Instagram at Duchilaz, DUDECHIAAZ. You can follow me. You can get everything that I'm doing always on social media. If you want to book me anywhere in the world with what I do, rap, you can go to my email. It's Bonga Ncube, BONGAMNCUBE2 @gmail.com. That is me. Thank you very much.
You are watching
I'm not a Superman with power to save the world. I'm not a superstar with money to change the world. I'm just a simple man reaching for the stars. I'm giving everything, and all I have to sing. Everybody, lift your hands to the sky. Don't you stop believing. High, high, high. Never stop what you do. Just was breathing.
Yeah, man. Do it now. Sure, I believe I can fly. I can touch the sky. I spread my wings. I fly so high. My future is so bright. I can see me shine. So blue, so bright like a summer sky. Faga mandlinya unomqondo ngisabalale ngiveza ikhono ngepeni nephepha ngikhipha umono. I pray to God iphansi isitolo.
Around the world, and people everywhere. If you have a dream, yeah, don't let it fall apart. Just live your life and start a fight. Be a light to the whole world. People everywhere. If you only believe, then you will see.
Yeah, sure. I'm coming through with lyrical fire. Now I'm building your empire. Superman, I'm flying high. Ain't nobody can touch me now. Kono uyikonya nami ngibode. Solo uyithola nami ngimoshe. Phathu AC nami ngishove. Kade ngizivile manje kumele ngigove.